Everyone, to SestraNow's Workshop Wednesday. Tonight, we have a special treat for you. We have the 1000 Women Campaign's investment team leader who's going to be presenting tonight. That is Jenny Escobar. She's going to present tonight on Invest in Your Life, Elevate Your Future. Jenny is a financial coach with Prime America. She specializes in life insurance and investment products. This woman comes to the table with 21 years of experience in this field. After you listen to her wonderful presentation and all the opportunities that she's going to tell you about, and how she's going to direct you on how we can all level up, and then we can follow this call. We can follow up this workshop with how we can all take this advice and level up together, which is what SestraNow is about. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Jenny Escobar, who will be presenting for our investment team. Thank you so much, Jenny. We're looking forward to hearing this.
Hey, good evening. How's everybody doing? Hello, ladies. Hello. I'm glad all of you did not chose to be here and not watching your novela, because we have many different options that we could do with our time. And sometimes if we don't see the value in something, we don't find the time. So usually when people tell me I don't have the time, it's because they don't see value in it. So our job today is to create enough value so that next time we have another one, we have more people showing up and more people on the live. So what I'm going to do is share my screen with you and go over a couple of concepts that I hope resonate with you. So what you can expect from me today, right? Statistics that will help you take action. So that's one of the first things. How important saving for retirement is. And actually, before I continue, I'm going to challenge you all to do this. Be in the moment today, this evening, right now. Let's all be here and not be thinking that you burnt the rice earlier today, or that you had an argument with your husband, or that, you know, something went wrong. Let's all focus on what we're here to do. And I promise you, you're going to learn a lot. So we're going to talk about how important saving for retirement is, why life insurance is the foundation, the significance of creating a budget, and debt-free is the new skinny, right? It's very important. And why having a spare tire financially is key. I know we have a lot of women here who have their own businesses, and they know exactly what I'm talking about. There's never enough places and vehicles where you can start to work and develop yourself. So let's talk about some statistics, because this is really important. 50% of women find it difficult to talk with others about their personal finances. Nobody wants to say, oh, you know, I'm struggling with my debt, or I don't really know too much about life insurance, or where should I invest my money? What does investment mean, right? A third of women have a detailed financial plan. Only a third. What happens to everyone else? It's just a dream, and it's not a goal unless you have action steps to it. For women that earn more than $30,000 per year, 12% have not yet started saving for retirement. So you understand there's a lot of room for growth and for learning for all of us. Among women who are saving, 1 in 3 feel they're not saving enough. And I'm sure if I were here to say, raise your hand, let me know if that's you, you would say yes. And 43% of women plan to work after age 70. Now, there's a huge difference between working because you love what you do and working because you have to, because you're obligated to do so, because we never saved enough. So we're going to go over a couple of things on that too. So women and money are very important. As our financial success continues to grow, so do our financial responsibilities. So many women, unfortunately, have greater challenges for different reasons. So I'll share a few of them with you. Women are more likely to work part-time jobs, and they don't qualify for a retirement plan. So this is what happens. Let's say we get married, we're expecting a child, so we don't go to work anymore. Now we're not saving in that retirement plan. Now we're not doing anything. So our investment in our retirement portfolio dips. Then let's say the child starts going to school, then we go back to work, we're excited, all of a sudden we're saving enough, and then dips again. So sometimes our finances go like this because of our lifestyle. So we don't qualify for a retirement plan. And usually that's a huge issue for us, because we think if we're married, well, my husband's retirement is also mine. And I have news for you. It's not. Okay, because God forbid something happens, and let's just say you lovely people decide not to be together anymore. That's his retirement. That's not necessarily yours. So you need to think about your stuff as well. Working women are more likely than men to interrupt their careers. Isn't this true? My mom is sick. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take care of her for a year or two. Or maybe you start working part-time and now all of a sudden you're in the same situation as you were before. So you contribute less to your retirement, which affects you in the long term. And so much financial responsibility would suggest that women need substantial savings, but it doesn't always happen that way. Okay, so let's talk about taking control of your financial life. Most people feel that they need to have control over everything. I don't know if you've ever felt this way, like I need to make sure this is okay, I need to make sure that's okay, my life is okay. And sometimes there are things that we cannot control. So I'll share with you. We can't control the future of Social Security, or should I call it social insecurity?
Which one?
What happens here? A lot of the times we feel that Social Security is going to help us retire, and that's a small challenge. Your employer, you don't know what your employer is going to do. Are they going to help you with your 401k plan? Are they going to downsize you? Taxes, we can't control how much taxes we pay. A little bit we can if we're self-employed. Inflation, it's going up every year, 4% minimum. And then we have the rising costs, absolutely, and the risk of a single investment. But I have good news for you, because what you can control is all of these things. You can save for your retirement. That's something that you have full control over. You can make more income. You have other resources of making income, right? So that's investing. Today, the whole talk today is about investing your time and energy into another source of income so that you're okay financially. Ways to reduce your taxes. There are so many ways. Maximizing your savings. You have that opportunity where you can say, listen, I'm not going to get this purse for this Tiffany's. I'm going to go ahead and save. And when I have enough and it's in my budget, I'll get everything I want. And the diversity of your investment choices. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Retirement is just ahead. I remember when I started my career, I was 20 years old, and now I'm 40 and I will be 41 this year. Do you know how fast 20 years went by? I can't even believe it. And this word retirement was so far-fetched for me, and I see that it's so much closer. So what are we doing to make sure that we're retired? Let's talk about some important concepts. So the rule of 72 is really cool because it was invented by Albert Einstein, and it shows you how long it takes your money to double in years, depending on the interest rate you're getting. So let's take a look at a $10,000 investment, right? So if we do 3 divided into 72, it'll show you how long it takes your money to double in years. So let's look at this wonderful thing here. If you invest your money at 3%, it's going to take that money 24 years to double. That's why a lot of us who are saving feel that we're doing such a good job and we're still stuck. Have you ever felt that way? I'm saving, but I'm not really going anywhere. Why is this happening to me? Because we're not playing in the right way. All right. So we should know the rule of 72. At 6%, your money doubles every 12 years. That's a little better. And at 12%, which is the investment part, right? That's our theme today. It's mutual funds, retirement accounts, IRAs, even your 401k plan at work could yield you an average rate of 12%. At 12%, your money doubles every 6 years. There's a huge difference between having $40,000 and having more than $2 million saved. So what happens here is usually we don't have enough knowledge and education, and we kind of keep doing the same thing that maybe our parents did. But we have to break that cycle a little bit. And the way that you break that cycle is by educating yourself, and not just that, but by taking action, researching more. Okay, the importance of rate of return. I'm going to share this with you. A $1,000 investment, this is what it looks like. If you put it at 6% rate of return, you're going to get almost $49,000. At a 9% rate of return, it grows to $339,000. If you average a 12%, it's $2.3 million. I know these numbers seem big. Oh, but I can't even start saving $50 a month. Jenny, why are you talking to me about a $1,000 investment? It's a good opportunity for you to see what's out there. Because if you save a little bit, if you save $80 every month and you save $1,000 after a whole year, you take that $1,000 and now you invest it. If you put it in a good vehicle, you can have a lot of money in the future. The challenge is that most of us are so afraid to take action that we end up doing nothing. And that usually creates more fear, if that makes any sense. Okay. So
I'm sorry, Jenny, there's a question. Would you like to take questions or you want to hold questions till the end?
Absolutely, yes. What is the question? I cannot see it because I have my screen up. Let me see. The statistics, Carol, are absolutely concerning, and I'm glad you said that. And we need to navigate this better, right? So over what period of time? That is over a 25-year period of time. So saying that somebody starts at such and such age is usually after 25 years. So let's take a look at here. It pays to start investing early. So if we take that $1,000 rate of return and you accumulate it, this is the answer to your question, until age 65. Let's just say if you saved when your child was born and you save that money, it will be $647,000. If you wait until your child is 16, just to give you some perspective, I have so much going on, I need to think about all these things, let me wait. That money now grows to $131,000. And if you wait until your child is 40 to finally start thinking about your retirement, it's too late. You'll have about $12,000 invested and saved. I can definitely give you some more numbers and statistics as we go along. Let's go back. So what is a mutual fund? People usually ask, what's the difference between a stock and a mutual fund? I'm so afraid to invest in the stock market. I can't even get myself to think that way. Well, let's go over something pretty simple that we can all understand, right? So if you were going into an elevator, would you go into an elevator that has 1 cable or 4 cables? I would want to go on one that has like 8, right? But let's just say 4. Yes, that's right. So 4 cables, that's the same thing. So when you invest here, if you see here in an individual stock, let's just say you invested all your money in Sony and Sony just went out of business. Now you really have lost the money because the value of the shares that you purchased are at 0. There is no room for redemption there. There's no room for a comeback. But in a mutual fund, the great thing about that is that you become an owner of all of these companies. So what you do is with the $50 you're investing a month or $100 you decide to invest, and yes, you can start with that little. It's totally doable. You have now Sony, Trader Joe's, you have Google, Facebook, Apple, LG. If something goes wrong with, let's say, Sony, you still have all of these other investments that'll offset what's going on with one of the stocks that may not be doing so well. So a mutual fund is really a great opportunity for you to start investing. And that's usually how it goes and how the money is invested when you begin to do your 401k plan. So here's what happens. What do I do, Jenny? I have my job. I have a 401k plan there. I haven't started investing in it. Well, you definitely should. I would recommend it, especially if they do matching. So for example, your employer can say, for every dollar that you put in, we're going to match and put 50 cents. I would do it in a heartbeat because that's money they're giving you in your retirement account. If they don't match, then maybe starting your own IRA, whether it's a traditional or a Roth. An IRA stands for individual retirement account. At that point, you have so many different options, but you can do this. And if you happen to be self-employed, I know a lot of the ladies that are watching us are self-employed, such as myself. When you have your own business, you don't work for a big corporation. How do I have my life insurance in place? How do I get my investments in my retirement going? You kind of feel like you're stuck, but you're not. So you can bookend this whole situation with any company that you'd like as well. You can go do business with anybody you want, and you can open up your mutual fund, your IRA, and you can do your life insurance. And now you have 2 things that you're investing in. God forbid you pass away. And if the Lord graces you with lots of years to live, so you can have a lot of money and not have to go back to work. So that's the things. You can cover so many different areas for anybody. You can be a business owner and invest. You can have a job and put money in your 401k plan. So don't feel that you can't do this. Also, if you don't have a 401k plan at your job and you are employed somewhere, you can open up an IRA and start saving for your own retirement. So rest assured that there are so many different options. Let's
Jenny,
talk.
Yes. Jenny, we have a couple of comments and questions.
Sure. Let's see. Let me see here.
Tika Ann said, I love my Roth IRA, but I don't like the 6K max yearly. And
Yeah.
Alfia is asking, what do you think about deferred?
So yeah, the Roth, I love the Roth IRA too. What you can do is, if you don't like the 6 max because it's not enough, then you can also open up your traditional. So you can fully fund one, and if you still have a lot more money you want to invest, then you can open up a traditional as well. So you can fully fund both. And then after that, you can maybe open up a SEP IRA. So if you're rolling high, young lady, it's a good problem to have. If you're saying, I don't like it because I have more money, that's phenomenal, Tika. So we definitely have a lot to talk about. I know we have a Zoom coming up, and I'm excited to hear what you have to offer, so we can talk about all of that stuff.
I recommend we just continue to let Jenny finish with her presentation, and we can just do a question and answer at the end. How does that sound, Jenny?
Absolutely. Whatever you
I think we should
want.
do that, because there's a lot of questions coming. So let's let you finish,
Sure.
and then we can all ask you the questions.
No
Thank you,
worries.
everyone.
No worries. Those are all really good questions, by the way. So the 3-legged stool, let's look at it this way. Number 1, Social Security, right? Oh, this is how we're going to keep the stool steady. Social Security, that's one way that we feel we're going to save for retirement, or that we have money for retirement. A company pension. Pensions are like dinosaurs now. They don't really exist. If you work with a company that gives you a pension, that's awesome. But most of us don't have that. Personal savings. And really, this is the leg where we have to work hard. How can I make sure that I retire comfortably? Because Social Security, and I encourage you, when you get that Social Security statement, when you get that letter and you kind of put it to the side, just like with everything else, that pile, you may want to look at it and call up the office and ask them, what's my projection when I retire? How much am I going to be getting every month? You will be surprised. So that's a good exercise for you to do, so that sometimes we need a wake-up call. The other day I went to the store and I had gained a couple of pounds. I don't know if this happened to you. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, it's a wake-up call. You go, oh man, I need to do something. So for us, calling up the Social Security office would be a good start to just kind of see where we're at. Okay. And okay, so let's talk a little bit about debt. Debt is important to get out of that situation, to get rid of that. So I'll talk to you about compounding interest, because it can work for you and against you. So did you know that a one-time purchase of $3,000, it's going to take you 10 years, if you just pay the minimum, 10 years to get rid of that debt, and you will pay $2,000 in interest. So if you don't have to purchase it, don't. I understand emergencies come up. We've all been there where we had to maybe tap into something. And remember, this is a judgment-free zone here. We're giving you a little information, and it's good. It's a good resource. But no, don't feel bad if you used your credit cards, or if you have credit card debt. It is completely okay. You can change it around at any moment. And so that's $5,000. So you purchase something for $3,000 and you end up paying $5,000, and you have to make those payments for 10 years, assuming you haven't purchased anything new, anything else besides that. So that's a little scary. Let's talk about revolving debt versus fixed debt. Look at how revolving debt can erode your financial security. So you're looking at a debt of $17,000 at 18% revolving debt. In 17 years, you're going to get out of debt. If you have fixed debt, which means it doesn't just come back around, it pays mostly the principal and not the interest, you'll be out of debt in 3 years and only pay $5,300. So there is such thing as balancing something of a good debt, and then there's the revolving debt, which we have to just be aware of, right? Be a little aware of it. Okay, and we have a complimentary service. So if anybody ever needs anything, like just to chit chat and talk about your finances, I'm here. I'm one of the many ladies from Sestra that can do that. You can do debt stacking. And that means that you can begin to kind of pay off some other cards. Once you're done with one, what you already are used to paying with that, you pay off the other one. And that's something free that you can learn how to do on your own. And now you're out of debt a lot sooner. So that also helps tremendously. So that's investing knowledge into yourself, right? So let's talk about life insurance. Most people think, well, I'm too young, I don't need it. I'm going to tell you my personal story. When I turned 36 in 2016, I was 36 years old. My daughter was 2 years old at the time. I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. They took my entire thyroid out. And all I thought to myself was, number one, thank God I had life insurance. And number two, I was just heartbroken. I'm sure if you ladies have kids, it was such a devastating moment in my life, because I didn't want to leave my daughter with no mom at the age of 2. I just remember bawling and crying, but I had a little, I'm not going to say I had a lot of hope, a little bit of hope that if I did pass away, because when you hear the C word, you, no matter how positive you are, and if you know me a little bit, I'm a very positive person, but when you get hit with the C word, it's tough. And I had a little hope that I knew that I did the right thing, and I had life insurance. And now, ladies, I'm uninsurable, which means that if I wanted to invest for life insurance or apply for life insurance, I don't qualify, because we have to be 5 years completely in remission in order for you to do that. So it was a big hit for me. So in my mind, I started life insurance at the age of 20. What a great investment I made in myself and my daughter, even though I didn't know she was going to come along, if that makes sense. Sometimes young people say, well, I don't have kids, I'm not married, I don't have anything. Well, maybe you will in the future. And isn't it nice to be prepared for every single situation that could come up? So let's just take a look at here. We have a lovely couple. Between the both of them, they make $7,000 a month. They pay all of their bills, everything, right? They invest in all of their stuff, their family. They're investing heavily into each other, their children. Let's just say something were to happen to the husband. Now we're only left with $3,500 of income. How is this wonderful woman, besides mourning, going to come up with another $3,500 to pay for all of these expenses? That's why investing in learning more about what life insurance is about is important, correct? So let's go to the next one. Let's cover a few things. Oh, Jenny, well, I have life insurance at work, so I'm all set. Were you aware that if you happen to be employed, but you're not necessarily working, which is what happened to most of us? What happened during the pandemic? We were still employed, but we were not working. If somebody passed away during that time, they would not have paid the death benefit. So again, let's invest in learning more about these things, right? And then if you have personal life insurance, that's wonderful. How do you know? Do you know how it works? Do you know what will happen to it? Is it term? Is it whole life? Invest in learning a little bit more about that for yourself, right? Because how do you know when you have the right type of life insurance? You don't, because you passed away. And now you leave your family with all of these uncertainties. Let's talk about the theory of decreasing responsibility. In the beginning, we get married, we have children, and we have a lot of responsibilities, very little money, and a lot of debt. And usually in this time is when we need to have life insurance, because passing away too soon is devastating to the family financially. And then later on, how many of us would love to live a very long life and not have to worry about using our life insurance? So we're talking about the two things: having life insurance in case something happens, and if we live too long, we have enough money for retirement. So we should have all of our stuff set in place. How do we do that? By investing in learning how all of these things work. And I encourage you ladies to do your own research, to look around, to shop around, and just learn. Maybe read a couple of books on finances too. Here are some helpful tips. The 3 accounts that we should all have. Number 1 is an emergency fund. If the pandemic didn't teach us anything besides that we need life insurance, is that an emergency fund really is helpful, because a lot of people didn't have money put away, and it was devastating. All right. I had a lot of people reach out, Jenny, I don't know what I'm going to do. I had some clients that had money. So they said, look, it's scary with what's happening, but financially we're okay. Number 2, short-term savings. I know it's not you, but have you ever met these people? Not you, but you met these people that have all these things they want to do, but they never put action steps into any of them. Oh, one day I'm going to buy a boat. I'll buy a second house. I'll retire my mom. I'm going to do this. And there's no action steps. We need to be able to save every month so that we can feel good about it and say it's going to happen. And then the third one is retirement. We all want to make sure that we don't have to keep working if we don't want to. It should be a choice. So here's some important things about life insurance. I'm not going to cover too much of it, but do your research on how everything works, right? But it shouldn't be, life insurance shouldn't really be an investment, so to speak, where you're putting money away into it. It's more an investment that you're paying into it for a product you're purchasing. There are so many vehicles where you can get a much better rate of return. But like I said, you can feel free to do your research on that too. Let me give you this other tip. Have you, or maybe you are this type of person that says, well, I'd like to start saving for my child's college first, and then I'll think about my retirement. Let me give you some perspective. Your child can be 18 and go get a student loan, maybe have anything with in that regards, right? But when you retire, you cannot get a retirement loan. So you have to think of yourself first in this sense. Save for your retirement, and along the way, you can do something for your child. And if you're fortunate enough to be able to fund both things at the same time, that is a great place to be in, right? So many things. So I'll leave you with this. You can only fix a financial problem by fixing yourself. It's all comes from us. It's not your salary that makes you rich. It's your spending habits. And just because you can afford the payments doesn't mean you can afford the item. So that's something also to look into. Okay, ladies. So I hope that this was helpful. I just wanted to give you a couple of little tips. Didn't want to take too long here. I know we have a lot of things to do this evening. And I thank you, Sestra, so much for giving me the opportunity and this platform to speak to everybody.
Thank you, Jenny. So now we can get those questions answered. That was awesome. That was
Thank
awesome.
you.
How about I start on Facebook Live to see what questions Judelia, that's coming to us from St. Lucia, had a question. Her question was, please recommend some sound investments that a woman can invest in. So that is a loaded question because everybody's different. It's so true. It's like, well, what kind of guy should I date? Well, what kind of guy do you like, right? And then there's the kind of guy that we like and the kind of guy we should be dating. Okay, so there should be somewhere in the middle. So to answer your question, it would be good if maybe you reached out to me and then we can do a little consultation personally, and then I can take a look at your situation and give you some options and some choices and maybe some advice. And then you can do your research, of course, and then decide what you like to do. But everyone that's on here, if Sestra's okay with it, I can definitely do appointments individually on an individual Zoom, and then we can talk about your situation, and whatever I can do, I'll be more than glad to. That's awesome. Annette, do you want to read these questions in the chat, or should you want me to go ahead and do it?
Yeah, you go ahead and do it. It's okay.
Okay.
I just want you to, if Angie's there too, I asked Angie to monitor Facebook. So if you want to focus on here and say, Angie and I could look at the Facebook questions.
So far, Facebook is good. I have it on my phone. Okay. So I think your question was answered, Tika Ann, about the Roth. I don't like the 6K max yearly. Did she answer that right? So the next question is Althea Pilar asks, what do you think about deferred comp? So we have two things here, and I know that she mentioned, I was reading the notes about the Roth IRA. So there's a difference between deferred vehicle and a tax-free vehicle. So for example, if we're talking about the Roth IRA, it's a tax-free vehicle, which means you're putting money in already taxed from your paycheck. So whenever you decide to take the money out after age 59 and a half, right? Because we have to wait till that age, otherwise we get charged with a 10% penalty plus whatever tax bracket you're in. You're almost paying 40% to get your money out before age 59 and a half. We don't want that. Now, why did they create this type of accounts? Because they know that we are very weak. And if we could just take the money out to go buy a Louis Vuitton bag or to go to Aruba, we will. So that's why at 59 and a half is when we can start taking it out. So we have the Roth IRA, which is tax-free in and tax-free out. And then the deferred vehicle, which is a traditional IRA. With that, it means that you are going to pay taxes later. So when you're 59 and a half, you will have to pay taxes on everything that's going to be taken out. But you can deduct that on your taxes. So sometimes people look at it as a tax deduction, and that's more of an accountant that you'd have to consult with, but that's the difference. The Roth IRA is tax-free and the traditional is tax deferred. Okay, so Tika Ann is another question that she put in the comments earlier. What formula do you use for how much life insurance someone should have? So that's cute. That's really cute because I use the form life, right? So L is for living expenses, right? How much living expenses do I need? I is for income. How much income do I need to replace, right? F is what do I need for funeral expenses? And E stands for educational. So if we look at all of those, we can add them up and then see how much it is that we need to be insured for. Now, Tika, there's a small caveat there because a lot of people say, well, I should be insured for $1 million. And sometimes we can't afford that. So sometimes it's good to start with a little bit less and to have life insurance than to buy too much and know that maybe it's not affordable at the moment, if that makes any sense. I'd rather have something secure than have to have something that's kind of teetering and stressing me out financially. Thank you, Jenny. The next question is, what are index funds?
So index funds are something really fun. And it all depends on the stock market and the different types of funds that we can do. So like I said, some of those can be done through one certain stock, and then other ones can be done through a mutual fund. And it all depends on your risk tolerance. How do you feel about investing? So that's more of a one-on-one to say, well, what kind of index fund is it that we're looking for? So it all depends what vehicle also you want to put it in. That's the best I can do with that without getting too technical in here.
Yes, okay. So I don't see any other questions. If anyone that is on live or
Wait,
that is within our
Miss
Zoom.
Diana's question up there, what is the difference between an IRA and a Roth? I don't know that you answered that. Or
I
maybe
thought she just did, but okay.
between the traditional and the Roth.
Yes. So a traditional IRA is tax deferred and a Roth IRA is tax free. Besides that, they all work the same, exactly the same, except one is tax deferred. And that one, the traditional IRA, you can kind of deduct in your taxes. So it looks pretty cool. But either way, you're paying taxes, whether it's now, which is the Roth, or whether it's later, you know, Uncle Sam is going to charge you either way.
Got it. So my follow-up question on that is, can you have both? And is there tell us, because you said earlier in response to my first question, the traditional and the set. So tell us about the limits and stuff.
Sure. So each one has a $6,000 limit. Also, there's an income cap depending on your situation. So if somebody makes over 150, you can still fully fund the IRAs. But then after that, once you're done with that, you can open up your SEP IRAs. If you happen to be self-employed, and that you can kind of deduct a little bit because now you're on a corporation, so on and so forth. So those three vehicles you can do. Then after that, if you're really banking, Tika, then you can go ahead and do annuities, managed accounts. There's a whole world out there of things that we can do.
Awesome. Thanks.
Sure.
Okay, another question. How do you access life insurance funds for, let's say, to buy a house? How does that work?
So life insurance was meant just to replace income. So if you have a life insurance that has savings in it, I would encourage you to maybe, you know, give me a shot so we can talk a little bit more and I can walk you through how that works. And at that point, if you decide that that's still something good for you, you can keep it. But a lot of the times, if you separate both, if you have just life insurance and then take the savings and put it somewhere else, you can utilize that for purchasing a home or doing other stuff. So you need to cut out the middleman. So what insurance companies do when they bundle up the life insurance and the savings, they take your money, they invest it into the global economy, they get a 12% rate of return, and you're getting like a 3%. So you can do this for yourself by separating life insurance on one side and investments on the other. And I can definitely give you some tips on that. Oh, thank you, Tika.
Yeah. The follow-up to that is, what do you think about insuring your children?
So that's a good one. And then sometimes people feel a little weird, you know, when I say, would you want to have your child insured as well? So it's good because of something like what happened to me. You know, you don't know what disease or what thing's going to come up. I had a client of mine a couple of years ago. Her son passed away at the age of 17 with leukemia. How would you ever on earth think that that's even possible? But she had life insurance on him. So it's one of the things where you can have life insurance for your child in your own policy. And maybe you're paying $6 a month, and the $6 a month for your child will cover them for $50,000 each child. And if you have one, or if you have seven, every child is covered for $50,000 under those $66 a month. So for $6 a month, you can cover one child or 6 children for the same monthly payment. So I would say do it, because also when they're 18, they have the opportunity to separate and have their own policy, and it's guaranteed insurability, which means that if they do have something wrong with their health, it doesn't matter. The life insurance company will automatically give them life insurance. And it's up to 10 times what they're originally covered for. So that's a slam dunk. I would say if you can do it, absolutely, it's a good thing to do.
Okay, next question is, Althea Pollard asks, is the limit higher for deferred comp versus Roth?
It's the same. Yeah. And it depends if you're doing it personally, or if you have some kind of plan in your job that offers you an opportunity to do deferred comp, then that's something we would need to discuss a little bit more, because I'd have to look at what statements you have and where it's at, so we can guide you a little bit better that way.
Okay. Well, what is better, term or whole life? I have both. Althea Pollard.
Well, Althea, first of all, congratulations for having life insurance, right? This is huge. So you did the right thing. And it all depends on what you're looking for. But if you look at the beginning of life insurance, it was just insurance. It was never meant to have savings with it. The only reason why, and I'll tell you this, because I sell insurance, right? This is part of what I do. The only reason why most insurance agents sell whole life insurance is because we get paid like 4 times more commission to sell it to you. So sometimes it's an ethical thing where I say, well, then can I sell her term? Sure. But if I sell whole life, I'll make $4,000 commission. And sometimes, so that gets cluttered in there. For me, the only thing I do is term, because I know that's the 100% the best thing for every one of my clients. And I know that if I do a good job for you, it's going to come tenfold to me. You're going to refer me to everybody, and I'm still going to make really great income, but doing it the right way. So for you, young lady, if you want, we can actually set up an appointment and talk more about it. And I can make a little more sense of it and give you the facts about both. And then you can decide which way you'd like to go.
Yes, and we can follow, since Jenny is on the investment team, we can follow up this workshop with another more detailed, we can break it out. There's a lot of questions, so maybe we can just have a workshop on something in particular. So maybe we'll survey you ladies to find out what you want to hear more about, and we can just focus. We have a whole year to go with the 1,000 Women campaign, and Jenny is such a great resource, and she's offering to her services to you, and she will definitely be by the end of the week on what we're about to introduce to all of you, SestraNow's Marketplace. The Marketplace is where all of you who are entrepreneurs that have products and services to offer will be featured on our website. For now, until the app is up and coming, the app is being developed, but until that point, right now, we want you to take advantage of each other's. It's a network of women. So you guys need to start to chat with each other, talk to one another, and all of your information. Tika Ann, I would like you to go to SestraNow.com and please put in your information so that if anyone is looking for makeup and take advantage of her great Mary Kay products, which I have already done so, and Jenny is about to do it, we need to start to do that and put the whole idea of this is so that we can spend our money internally within our sisterhood. Okay. So the SestraNow Marketplace, we will have a formal announcement about that, but we want you to get your needs taken care of by Jenny Escobar, and all. You can have the option of any other financial advisor that is listed on our vendor page, and take advantage of that. But Jenny will definitely be there with her beautiful photograph, and you can take advantage of her 20 years of expertise in this area. Okay, please look out for that. We will announce it. We will continue to announce through the Facebook page everyone that will be on SestraNow's Marketplace. Okay, so are there any okay, I think we have another question here. Althea says, I had the term at 25 and the whole later in life. My mom told us when we were younger that all of us kids need to get life insurance. So no question out there, right?
Good job, Althea. Yes.
And then Carol says, I got life insurance for each kids when they were 2. It's worth the peace of mind.
That's right. Look at these ladies knowing what to do with their finances. That makes me so happy.
A lot of valuable information exchanged tonight. I didn't know that either. I think Annette was the one that asked that question of whether you should insure your children. And
if I could just make a comment, it was actually Patty who's in charge, is the lead for the real estate team. This is something she said that Caucasian white people insure their children, and she believes that it's because they do that, white lives are valued more. That has something to do with it, right? I don't know if that's backed up with data or whatever, but the whole idea of us as people of color valuing our lives, and maybe if we did it more, they would think twice, the powers that be or whatever would think twice about just kill, you know, I mean, like, this is a great time too. I was just talking to Stephanie, you know, we're really outraged about what's been happening with police brutality. And, you know, we try to keep SestraNow very neutral, but we don't want you to think that we're just going on with our lives. We're very in tune. We're very outraged at what's happening. And so the idea that our lives, our Black and brown lives matter, or that it's important, I don't know, that's what Patty said. It makes sense to me. But when we start to become more politically savvy, I mean, not politically, financially savvy, when we start getting investments, you know, there's the power of, you know, money is power, right? And so it's really sad, and that's not what we try to promote here. But the reality is that money talks. And so when we level up, and we, you know, we'll have more of an opportunity to make a difference, to have a say, because that's just the way society works. And so, thank you. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Jenny?
Yeah, the thing is, you know, I'm from Ecuador. I was born in Ecuador, so I understand all of this stuff. And what I noticed is that if we get ourselves in a financial position and we level up, a lot of these things kind of tend to go away, just because you're kind of, there's like a buffer between all of this. You know, there's more opportunities, there are more options. And also, once we educate ourselves in a different way, it does make a huge difference. I do believe that what's happening is absolutely insane. I think that a person should be judged by what they do, not what they look like. It should be like, listen, if you're cool, I don't care what color you are. If you're cool, we're going to hang out, right? Or if you're open-minded and if you're a good person, we're hanging out. And that's basically how I live my life. You know, I don't think everybody does. But yeah, making more income does give you more options. And also it gives you an opportunity to give your children more. And if they have more, they can do more. So I do believe that part.
I saw a comment that Carol said that a lot of people of color think it's morbid to talk about life insurance. And I'm going to be honest, I have felt that way.
Yes, it's very true. And it happens a lot. The reason why I started my entire business with finances was because I saw that our communities, we contribute, check this out, we contribute a lot to the economy, but we contribute very little to our personal finances. You know, we're out there buying Jordans and doing all these crazy stuff. And then sometimes I see these young girls, they got their, you know, their Louis Vuitton bags or whatever, but we're not fully funding our IRA. You know, we don't have life insurance, we don't have an emergency fund. So it's also a matter of learning and educating. So I saw all of that and I said, no, we need to shift these things. So I did this with purpose. And I started going to these, you know, uptown Manhattan and everything. And I was talking to pastors. I'm like, listen, can I do a seminar for you? I was 19. They're like, oh my God. But they gave me a chance, you know, and then I didn't think the pastor was going to say yes, by the way. So I said, and then he goes, yes. I go, oh my God, I went home to my mom. I said, somebody said yes. Now I have to do a presentation in front of people. I know nothing. She goes, we better order pens. I go, pens? I didn't know anything. So, you know, if you have your own business, you know what it's about. You always have to just say yes and then figure it out later. But I'm telling you, it was amazing. And then we started getting into the communities, and a lot of the things like what you said, and the wonderful lady that just wrote, it's true. Oh, well, I don't want to leave my wife with money so she can go with the other guy. That's ridiculous. All right. Come on.
Wow.
Do you not love your kids and your wife? So these are objections that we really have to overcome. Or, well, they'll just have to bury me in the background. Newsflash, that's illegal. You can't bury your loved one in the back, you know, in your backyard. So these are all this, but we did these presentations with a lot of humor, and then it brings down people's guards, and all they really need is to know that you care and a little education. So for our communities, it's big.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, any more questions here? I'm fielding Facebook as well. I put a note here regarding our marketplace, so please get the word out. And anyone here that has an active business that they would like to make sure that all of the sisters know about it and can take advantage of it. Jenny has already signed up. You have to just go to www.SestraNow.com, the marketplace tab, and there's a form that you fill out to provide us your information. We're going to need a logo, and we will need a photo, whatever you would like to be presented in your write-up on the marketplace, so that people will know all about you and want to take advantage of your products and services. Okay. This was wonderful, Jenny. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. I know you scratched the surface. There's still a lot more to dig into. So we're going to tell everyone to look out for your contact information within the marketplace. But Jenny constantly, we've told her to constantly to post her videos, to post her information, as we encourage all of you to do as much as you like, because this is SestraNow is a network of women. Sestra stands for sister. The Now is network of women. So we need to get to networking, ladies. We're kind of doing it already. Some of us, but not all of us. And we need to get more, we need to get to doing more of that, because this is all about you. We put this together to promote you, to promote your services, to help you level up. So how are you going to do that if we don't talk to one another and start to take advantage of what we have to offer to our sisters? We have to know about it so that we can know that it exists. And then we need to feel comfortable, which you should, reaching out to chat with your sisters. We need to start the connections going. So if you guys have any suggestions on how we can get the word out about it, if you have any female friends or family members or business associates that would like to be on the marketplace, please introduce them to SestraNow.com and let them sign up to be a member. That's the only requirement, is that you are a member of SestraNow. Then you're on that marketplace and we can all take advantage of what you have to offer, because that is what SestraNow is about.
I just wanted to say something too. Wonderful presentation, Jenny. There was a comment by Althea that says, you do not want your family to have the burden of your funeral. And I see all the time, you see GoFundMe and all that stuff. Burying someone, even cremating someone, is so expensive. And, you have to think about that. And I just want to add, just to share, I wasn't really a big proponent of life insurance. And, I just want to share that my husband, months before my husband died, he had just signed up, and we were kind of skeptical, but I said, we're probably never going to use it, but it's better to have it. And the unthinkable happened. He died. And literally, I was approved for the life insurance. I was pregnant with twins. And they give that, they give you that physical, that medical, to see if you apply. There's a thunderstorm over here, sorry. But anyway, just quickly. And when he died, I still had the hole in my arm from where they drew the blood to give me the physical. And so, imagine my life would have been so different, so different if I didn't have that. And so everywhere I go, I try to encourage people, because it happens. So thank you.
Yeah, that's just, she has a testimony. Annette, she has 7 kids, which is an amazing thing. And the twins are my godchildren. And I'm so happy that they're good and that they're taken care of and that happened. And, our faith, we have a similar faith. So we know that didn't just happen, And then I know that didn't just happen. That was meant to be, and she did it, and everyone should consider that and take advantage of what, Jenny is telling you. And I know also, I want to add, I can relate to what Jenny said about how you can become uninsurable. So this is something that we want to encourage everyone, no matter what your age is you're just getting into the working world, whether you're, 18, 19, 20, you really need to think about this, because you really don't know what life has to offer you. So I'll give myself, and let's share her story. So in this last 4 minutes, I'll tell you a little bit about my story and put my husband out there a little bit. He probably won't like this, but he had a condition and something happened to him in his life at the early age of 24, which made him uninsurable to this date. And that's my husband, and it's just so funny that the company that Jenny is working for, we're actually talking to them about an alternative plan because he is uninsurable for life insurance because he didn't do that when he was younger. But now we're taking advantage of the company that in the services that Jenny's company offers to put together an alternative plan for him, like for retirement. And, so that, he can make sure that I'm taken care of. So that's what we're working on right now. So these things you have to think about because life is so uncertain and you never know what's going to happen to you. And you want to make sure that your loved ones are taken care of. So we want to, with the youth division, we want to encourage them. We're going to have these, the finance team is going to continue to have these workshops and educational resources available to our younger division so that they can learn from all of us, right? This is what we want to do. This is what a sisterhood does. We want to reach back and let them know, no, you're not going to do, make the same mistakes that we did, so, I just want to share that. It's very important. And, so that being said, Jenny, we want to thank you again. If no one has any questions, we're going to let everyone go do what they do on Wednesday nights. Thank you for joining us for another great Wednesday workshop. And next week, we have the pleasure of listening to Allison Watley. She's going to be presenting a workshop for the debt reduction team. And the title of her workshop is Bye Bye Debt. So you want to make sure you tune in again next week. The finance team is going to hit it again. And we're going to be here to talk about how you can hit that credit card debt. I'm not sure exactly what she's going to talk about, but she's an amazing accountant as well as a counselor. She is multi-talented and, I can't wait to hear what she has to say. And again, SestraNow's Marketplace, get the word out. Check out Jenny and her partner, Joannie, on the Marketplace. And even if you don't see it there, you can always email Annette and I at info@sestranow.com for the information for anyone that presents, anything that you see on the Facebook group, any business or service that any of our sisters may offer. You can contact Annette and I at any time to get that information. We will get it from them and we'll make sure you get what you need because we want to continue to level up together. Thank you for joining us. And at this time, if there are no other questions, we're going to say good night.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Thank you on Facebook Live. Good night. All right. We're off of Facebook Live.